Hello everyone, Paul Anderson at Virtual News Network headquarters in New York with continuing coverage of our special report, Crisis in the High Desert, as the government in Lowland rapidly loses its grip on power and coalition units are still preparing for the defense of Bloomland. First, we turn our attention to the skies as fewer planes are now flying into and out of Lowland. It was announced today that charter aircraft like the ones you're looking at will no longer be flying to the country. That includes airfields and the capital city of Golva. This news comes just after commercial airliners like Delta and British Airways canceled flights in Lowland. The airlines and cargo companies report that it's getting too dangerous for them to keep flying in the region.
We have seen airplanes shot up by bullets, even heard that a surface-to-air missile was launched at a cargo plane a few days ago. Eventually they are going to hit something, and we don't want it to be our aircraft. The Lowland military can do nothing to stop these attacks.
Fewer flights means fewer chances for Westerners to get out of Lowland before it's too late. Some of the last passengers to get out this morning said they're grateful to be leaving.
There's a lot of war going on around us, and we got to get out of here. I mean, I got family to feed. There's no work anymore.
Right now, we're worried what would happen, in the long run.
For the time being, coalition military aircraft will continue flying into and out of Golva. Diplomatic insiders are predicting a mass evacuation of all Westerners from Lowland. Several Western embassies have already ordered all non-essential government employees to leave the country and urged civilians to do the same. The action stems from increasingly violent demonstrations at embassies. At last report, there were 2,500 people who would need to be evacuated from Golva. To make matters worse, Mandia has announced it will be sending even more anti-aircraft missiles to supporters in northern Lowland. Bloomland, for one, has denounced the move, fearing the missiles will be aimed at aircraft flying in their airspace. A demonstration turned violent today in a refugee camp in west central Bloomland. The protesters are part of a minority religious group called the Termini, claiming unfair distribution of food, shelter, water, and medical aid. Today, the Red Crescent confirmed that Bloomland is unable to provide adequate aid for all refugees fleeing Lowland.
انشالله عملیات آورداری ما در هوتکن امروز تمام میشه. فقط بحث دفن اجساد هست که داره پیگیری میشه. بعد آمار تلفات هم هنوز مشخص نیسته. زخمی‌ها هم کلا منتقل شدن. الان بحث پشتیبانی هست تا اونجا شده. از نظر پشتیبانی هیچ مشکلی وجود نداره.
They don't even have even some of the bare essentials. Obviously, the opportunity to even bathe is pretty limited here.
How they can get used to living here, I'll never know.
More bad news for those refugees. Bloomland has just announced it is closing its borders. No more refugees will be allowed to enter. News about the border closing has fueled more demonstrations in front of the Ministry of Diplomacy in Golva. Hundreds of people showed up, shouting and carrying placards. There were no reports of violence. Bloomland justified closing its borders in part because they claim insurgents are hiding among the refugees.
للاهتمام الكبير الذي أبلاه الرئيس لهذا الموضوع وللتطورات الأخيرة ويهمني أن أشير أنه الرئيس بشار الأسد أكد أكثر من مرة في حديثه على
It's estimated that more than 1,000 refugees had been fleeing from Lowland to Bloomland every day. That'll do it for this edition of Crisis in the High Desert. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned to Virtual News Network for the latest events as they unfold. We'll see you later, everyone.